Hey, NFL fans, for any Chicago Bears fans out there, we have a Bears-only YouTube channel. The link is right there, youtube.com/BearsNow for Chicago Bears coverage all year long, including this Bears video of the week. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham, back with another video. Let's get into the latest Bears rumors and news. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. You see the link below, youtube.com/BearsNow. Now, the story isn't necessarily specifically around Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, but national publications continue to predict that the Bears are going to be really bad this year. The Draft Network predicts that Chicago will finish last in the NFC North. USA Today, as we talked about recently, predicted a 3-13 season for Chicago. Jason La Canfora of CBS Sports says the Bears are a bottom 5 team in the NFL. I don't really know where this comes from. Now, obviously, if those things happen, if the Bears are really bad, that means the quarterback play was probably a disaster and that Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields will be an option for the Chicago Bears. Look, I'm all for getting a Trevor Lawrence or a Justin Fields, but I don't understand this national thought that the Chicago Bears are going to be a 3-5 win football team. Guys, they went 8-8 last year, and the offense stunk. This defense is still really good. I don't understand all this notion that Chicago is a dysfunctional team and is going to win like 4 football games. Why? It's got a top 5 defense in the NFL, arguably the best one. I just don't get it. Now, I'm going to break this down. Maybe they're thinking, they lost some pieces. Sure, like a ha-ha Clinton Dix, that's a guy that you need to replace. Well, guess what? They replaced him with Tayshaun Gibson. I think that's pretty much a push. Maybe Clinton Dix is slightly better. I think Gibson's actually a better cover guy in the end. Sure, they lost Prince Amukamara, the Bears, solid, reliable veteran corner, but he wasn't elite by any means anymore. And the Bears drafted a corner in the second round in Jalen Johnson. Maybe Johnson's not quite as good as Amukamara as a rookie, but I don't think that's a major drop-off. Okay, Nick Kwiatkowski, I get it. They had to decide between him and Danny Trevathan, and they chose Trevathan. They kept him. But if him and Roquan Smith stay healthy on the inside, they're both better than Kwiatkowski. I think we would all agree. I would have liked to bring Kwiatkowski back, but Trevathan and Smith are simply better players. Taylor Gabriel, you cut him. He's still a free agent. He's still out there on the market. Guess what? You signed Ted Ginn. Has more vertical speed and isn't as injury prone. I think that's pretty close to a wash. Leonard Floyd, you lost him. You cut him. Well, he wasn't performing at a high level, and you signed a guy that had 11.5 sacks last year in Robert Quinn. Are we sitting here and saying the loss of Nick Kwiatkowski makes this team from 8-8 to 3-13? I don't understand it. Like, the Bears replaced all their key guys that they lost. Sure, they haven't really addressed offensive line, and that is a concern, but I don't understand how that equates to, well, the Bears are going to be, drafting in the top 5 next year. I don't really see it going that way. We'll see what happens. If the worst case scenario, the Bears stink and tank and they end up with Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence and reset next year, that's fine. I just don't really see that being the case in the end. So I want you to predict for me, and I'll make this the pinned comment on today's video. So if you get hit with an ad break, go ahead and scroll on down and answer this question. Will the Bears make the playoffs in 2020? Type Y for yes or type N for no. Now, obviously, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields are 2 really good prospects, and they're going to be top 5 picks barring a major injury. Lawrence, he's probably going to be the number 1 pick, although Fields is starting to rise up there after a massive season last year. 41 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions. Lawrence can do it all, though. He's mobile. He reminds me of Andrew Luck. He's got the size, the athleticism, the strong arm, the pre-snap stuff he does. He's just really, really good. And Fields is kind of like that modern quarterback who's a true dual threat with a good arm and can run as well. I like these guys. I think this draft has some good options, but I think guys like Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, Tanner Morgan might be more realistic for Chicago because I just do not believe this notion that the Bears are going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL, and that's what it's going to take to draft Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields. You're going to have to be in the top 3, top 4 draft of next year. You're going to have to be picking that high. Now, let's just, pretend the Bears just bottom out and somehow this does happen and these national publications are right. I don't think that's the case, but let's say it happens. Which quarterback would you rather have? Would you want Trevor Lawrence? If you do, type L. If you want Justin Fields, type F. Obviously, there's scenarios where they could trade up for one of these guys, but in the end, I don't think the Bears are going to be drafting in the top 3 or 4 next season. All right, guys, you guys know the drill, the challenge, I should say. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by June 15th. We crossed 8,000 right around May 15th, so we want to get to 10,000 by June 15th, almost at 8,200. I did the math. If we get like 70 new subscribers a day, we will reach it. Lofty goal, but I think we can reach it. Share that link down below if you're watching on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel and you found this and you're like, hey, I want more Bears videos. You see that link below. Go to youtube.com/Bears now. If you're already watching on our Bears channel, which most of you guys are, just hit the big red subscribe button if you haven't already. We're putting videos up on the channel almost every single day. All right, let's talk about this year's draft. Darnell Mooney, who was a 5th-round pick by the Chicago Bears. He's eager to impress, and he might be already. ChicagoBears.com caught up with him, one of the team beat writers, and basically Mooney said that he's been grilled to his iPad. He's studying the playbook. He wants to learn and learn quickly. This is a kid who had an impact as a freshman at Tulane, and he's looking to have an impact as a rookie as well. This is what he had to say, how he's been working, because obviously there's virtual off-season workouts going on right now, saying, I record myself saying plays, all the plays we have installed. I have my headphones in, and I'll go to a field and act like I'm in a huddle and hear the play call and just line up and go. It's helping me extremely. You can't get on the field unless you get the coaches to trust you, so I'm just ready to get everybody to trust me. You guys know what I've been saying about this kid. I like him a lot. There's just something about him. Now you read this stuff, and you're like, man, he just gets it. He wants to learn. He wants to improve. He wants to be a factor. I like this kid a lot. We'll see how he fits as a rookie. I definitely think he's going to make the roster, though, and have an impact at some point. All right, guys, I hope you're staying safe out there. We want to help you stay safe in style by repping the Bears with a Bears face covering. Go to this link, chatsports.com/Bears mask. You can get this 3-pack for just $25. It's the best deal out there. Here's the deal. We've been getting a lot of orders on these with our partner Fanatics. They're a little back ordered right now, but if you order now, you're going to be able to get this sooner rather than later. And if there are games in 2020, you may have to wear a mask. So go ahead and get in line. Chatsports.com/Bears mask. I'll put that link in the comments and in the description. Darnell Mooney, like I said, 4-year player at Tulane. You know, look for a freshman, 267 yards and 2 touchdowns. Most freshmen don't play in college football unless you're a good player. He was able to leave his imprint early there. Obviously, ended up having a good, solid 4-year career. Big play receiver, over 20 yards a catch in his junior season in 2018. Again, after signing Ted Ginn, I don't know how much of a role he'll have as a rookie, but I do think down the road he will have an impact and may have a chance to play as soon as this year. Javon Wibbs, Riley Ridley, he'll have to compete with those guys for some snaps. We'll see how the Bears use Cordero Patterson this year. He might be used more as a running back type, but I like Darnell Mooney, and I like what his future holds. Who will have the bigger role out of these 3 receivers? Biggest role, I should say. Riley Ridley, Javon Wibbs, Darnell Mooney. Type R for Ridley, type W for Wims, or type M for Mooney. I think they're all going to be competing for snaps. We'll see how things play out in training camp and in the preseason. But type R for Ridley, type W for Wims, or type M for Mooney. All right, let's get into Matt Nagy a little bit here. Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated wrote an interesting piece, his Monday column, and talked about the Bears quite a bit. And Nagy apparently was seeking pushback from his new hires. Obviously, he brought in 4 new offensive coaches. He wanted some fresh blood after a, let's just call it a bad season last year on the offensive side of the football. And I think the goal is for this offense to get back to 2018 form. Here's a quote from kind of some interactions he's been having with his new staff saying, I'd get pissed off and say, no, put on 2018 and show him how that same play worked. Then those coaches see that play and say, well, 2018, that play looked pretty good. So that's been our challenge. Why? Why from 2018 to 2019 did that happen? There's a lot of things that go into that, and I will always start with myself in all of this. You have to be able to do that. So he's holding self-accountability. He's looking for these coaches to help him out on this staff, and we'll see how guys like Bill Lazor and John DeFilippo and these guys can impact this coaching staff. Clancy Barone, the new tight ends coach, he's looking for pushback, and apparently he's been getting that so far as they've been reviewing plays from the past couple of years. Obviously in 2018 it was pretty good, not so good in 2019. Will the Bears offense be better in 2020? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. It can't be much worse. So I'm going to type 1 for yes. If this offense is league average, between 15th and 20th best in the NFL, I think this is a playoff team with that defense. You can see the side-by-side of the regression from 2018 to 2019. 12-4 a couple of years ago. The points per game, top 10. Passing, sure not great, but very efficient from Mitchell Trubisky. The rushing attack was really good. Last year, that was the big drop-off. The rushing attack was bad. This team has to get back to controlling the ground game and being a good pound-and-ground football team with David Montgomery and use play action off of that. And I think that's where Nick Foles thrives as an RPO quarterback. Also, you see the turnover margin as well. Across the board, this offense just wasn't effective in 2019 like it was in 2018. All right, guys, I want you to spam the comments. Send in your best trade ideas. I'm going to do a trade mailbag very, very soon, so go ahead, send in your best trade proposals. Be specific, too. Don't just say, let's go get Clowney. Be like, or not Clowney, that's a bad example. Let's go get Yannick Ngakoue. Be specific on what you would trade for X player or X pick. So the best trade proposals, those are going to get on the show. You can also tweet some trade ideas at me, at HGramNFL. We'll do it very, very soon. We'll have some fun with it. So go ahead and spam the comments with your trade ideas. All right, last one here. It wouldn't be a Bears Now show without some quarterback talk. So let's talk about Mitchell Trubisky. The Athletic's Adam Johns, who covers the Bears, says that Trubisky actually needs the preseason more than Foles. And, you know, a lot of us would say, that's weird. Wouldn't the new quarterback need more reps, more preseason? Well, not really, because Nick Foles knows this offense very well. Matt Nagy actually compared it to just like riding a bike for Nick Foles. You know, give him the playbook, and he's like, oh, it's very familiar to what we ran in Philadelphia and back with the Chiefs when he was a Chiefs quarterback. So Nick Foles is very familiar with what the Bears are doing. That doesn't mean he knows the Bears offense better than Trubisky, but it does mean that, look, when you trade for a veteran quarterback that you're comfortable with and your other guy on the roster, he's going to have to take the job back. I'm not saying Foles has the job secured, but Trubisky is going to have to prove to this new coaching staff, these new coaches, that he can be the guy in 2020. This is the preseason schedule: against the Browns, on the road against the Broncos, at home against San Francisco, then at the Titans. Normally preseason doesn't tell me a lot, but how else do you solve a quarterback competition? It's going to be in training camp and in preseason games. Nick Foles, he just doesn't need as many reps. He's been around in the NFL for a long time, and he knows how this offense works. Trubisky is going to have to play very well in the preseason to win the job, and it's because the guy regressed last year. We just showed you the graphic of how the offense regressed. A lot of that has to do with Mitchell Trubisky. Completion percentage, down. Yards, down. Touchdowns, way down. Rating, way down. And I think that's the fairest metric there, because you could say, oh, well, he played in less games. Of course his yards down. Yeah, that's a fair point. But the rating doesn't lie. From 95.5, which is above average, to 83, well below average. That's not going to work. 90 is about average out of 158.3. 83, that's pretty poor from Mitchell Trubisky this past year. Sure, the offensive line wasn't great, but he's going to have to prove a lot to Matt Nagy and these assistant coaches that he can be the guy, not only in 2020, but moving forward for the Chicago Bears.